Hey guys, and welcome to Quality Shot quarterfinal preview. Here we go. Before we get started, though, I've got a little bit of a pet peeve. It's not really, but look, I have to be honest with you. First of all, thank you everyone for joining the stream yesterday for Djokovic Brooksby. It was amazing. I did manage to just about get through it. I was dozing off, and it finished around like 3:30 a.m. UK time. And yeah, I mean, that's how dedicated I am to the cause. So I hope you guys enjoy the stream. It's amazing to have so many people on as well, and a very intriguing matchup, to be fair, as well. Also, one thing that I wanted to point out is thank you everyone for your support, etc. Liking, the guys that are liking the videos, sharing the videos, subscribing. Please do continue to do so. It really does help us out. So please, continue to support us if you like the vids. And also, a lot of you guys who are watching, I think it's about 85 to 90% of you are not subscribed. So smash the subscribe button. It's free. And then make sure that you guys don't miss any videos and you get alerted to all the new videos as well. Notification bell also helps with that. So yeah, get involved, be part of the community, be part of the family. Right, let's get into this then. So before we go into obviously the quarterfinal matchups, very, very briefly, going to go into obviously the results for those who have missed them. So the round of 16 matches obviously concluded. And we've got our quarterfinalists. Obviously, Alcaraz came through in 5. Medvedev's through. Van der Zandschulp in 5 against Schwartzman. Zverev obviously won. We went through that before. And Lloyd Harris beating Opelka in a very, very, very impressive performance from the South African, and only losing the first on a tiebreak. So I thought that was really mighty impressive. Berrettini looked pretty good against Otto, although Otto had a wrist injury after the first two sets even. So an unfortunate way for his tournament to end, but Berrettini, gracious as ever, entertained the crowd to make sure they cheer on for him. Zverev, though, he won that one in the Germany versus Italy matchup, beating Sinner in straight sets. Sinner, obviously, so exciting, and he'll come again, but a very good tournament, I thought, for Jannik Sinner in the end. And FA coming through against Tiafoe, so I thought he'd be a slight favourite, and came through that in the end. So then we go into the matchup that obviously I did the stream for, Djokovic Brooksby. The first set got breadstick. The crowd's behind him. He's visibly annoyed. I think the crowd's behind Brooksby, and visibly and uncharacteristically making a lot of errors, especially on the forehand side. And Brooksby was outmaneuvering Djokovic, which to me is a crazy phrase to say, because normally Djokovic outmaneuvers everyone on tour, to be honest with you. There's not really a single player on tour that manages to do it, apart from maybe Nadal on clay. But recently that hasn't happened either, i.e. Roland Garros, apart from that first set. So, yeah, look, obviously he has been a slow starter at times in the past. So that could also be a reason. But once he kind of got to grips with Brooksby and was able to adjust his game and I guess find a little bit of form after that first set, he was okay. The second set, to be fair, was nip and tuck and could have gone either way. Brooksby didn't take the opportunities and didn't play the big points well. Djokovic took that, and then from there it was just, pretty smooth sailing. Some fantastic points, genuinely like unbelievable points from these guys. We had points where someone's getting lobbed, they'd go back, they'd retrieve it, manage to get it. Then there's someone at the net, there'd be a drop shot, they'd get that. Then they'd just go back to the back of the court, and then they'd be just hitting from the back, and then it'd be a mistake or a winner. It was just unbelievable stuff, passing shots galore. It was just it was a great watch. It really was. So I really enjoyed it. Right, okay, let's go through the quarterfinals then. As we've got our quarterfinalists confirmed. Van der Zandschulp, obviously the qualifier. He's the Karatsev of the US Open, I think. Obviously, Karatsev doing a similar thing at the Australian, making the semifinals. Can he do the same thing, Van der Zandschulp? I don't know. Medvedev is very tough. You'd have to back Medvedev, to be fair. I think he might win in 4 sets. I think Van der Zandschulp might take a set on a tiebreaker. But for me, Medvedev is just a man possessed right now. And I do think he thinks this is one of his best opportunities to win his maiden Grand Slam. So I do think maybe his form is not quite as high as Zverev or Djokovic's, but this is now the business end now. So you don't want to peak too early. Who's going to peak the best, I think, going into the quarterfinals, semifinals, and then leading into the final. And I think this is going to be key. And I think there's still a lot of questions to be answered, but Medvedev for me I think comes through that. Then if we go on to the other 3 quarterfinals, FA versus Alcaraz, I mean that's an unbelievable match. Genuinely that will be incredible. I cannot wait for that. FA and Alcaraz, I mean I actually like both players. I've seen FA play live at Wimbledon against Berrettini, and Alcaraz, I just love the style of play that he brings to the table. slightly would like Alcaraz to win, just because I feel like it's a real fairy tale story and a fairy tale story of being 18 years of age. But FA, I think, is definitely the clear favourite, and I think I'll back him in 4 sets. Alcaraz has played quite a few 5-setters, as has FA, to be fair, as well. But I think FA has that slight bit more of experience, even though he's very young as well, that might guide him through the match. Well, we shall see. We shall see. I think it'll be a cracker. It's actually my pick for the quarterfinals in terms of a kind of best match, and could very well go to 5 sets. I would not be surprised. Zverev, Lloyd Harris, I'm very interested to see what kind of level Lloyd Harris can show against Zverev. And Zverev has been playing pretty damn well, to be fair, striking the ball really cleanly. And that win at the Olympics seems to have done him wonders. Hasn't really got the yips at all from what I've noticed. Let's see. Hasn't got it since Wimbledon. And I'm just wondering whether it's, just a moment of time before it comes back in a really important moment, or whether it has permanently gone. So let's hope it's permanently gone. But Zverev, definitely someone to keep an eye out on. And look, if he's playing his A game and gets through this, and Djokovic gets through his, they'll meet in the semi-finals. It'll be a replay of the Olympics. But it'll be best of 5, and Djokovic will still be the favourite. But Zverev at the Australian Open quarterfinal had chances there as well to go on and beat Djokovic. So he'll probably take a bit of confidence, I think, from that, and also the Olympic win, to say, I can probably do this. But he can't get ahead of himself. He's got a very tough test in Lloyd Harris, who's been very inspired. And I'm not looking past him, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be Zverev in 4. I don't think it'll be straight sets. It could be. I thought Sinner might nick a set, but Zverev was very solid. Let's see. But an intriguing matchup for sure. Djokovic Berrettini, I think if it's on grass, and which it was at Wimbledon, I give Berrettini a better chance. I know these courts are quite fast, but I just feel that on hard courts, with Novak moving so well on hard courts, and it's his preferred surface. I know his form hasn't been incredible this tournament so far, but he still managed to get to the quarterfinals, and I feel like he'll peak at the right time. So I can't see him losing to Berrettini. I think if he comes up against an inspired Zverev in the semi-finals, he could well lose that. And again, he's still the heavy favourite in that one. But for Berrettini, I just can't see what Berrettini is going to do. He's a big server, yes, and he's got the big forehand. But I actually think Djokovic will plough away at the backhand side of Berrettini, and he's been serving so well. And Berrettini's returning is not incredible. It's okay. And if Djokovic serves how he has been serving, then we could have some very short games there. But for me, Djokovic potentially in 4. Let's say if Berrettini takes the first set. Djokovic has been pretty slow in the first set, so I wouldn't be surprised if Berrettini manages to blow him away. Well, let's go to the women's then. So obviously Pliskova came through Raducanu, Bencic as well, and that was an amazing tiebreak, that first tiebreak. First set tiebreak 14-12. It was so good. Genuinely like one of the best tiebreakers I've seen. Any other round of 16? Yeah, obviously Fernandez came through Sabalenka, Svitolina. And Krejcikova against Muguruza, which was a fantastic one. Raducanu, unbelievable way. Absolutely unbelievable. Right, let's go through the quarterfinals. And of course, Sakkari was the last one to play. And what a tight match here, right? Andreescu will be thinking, oh my gosh, like she took the first at 7-6. It's gone to a tiebreak the second one. She could have won 7-6, 7-6. She lost the tiebreak 8-6, so that's a really tight one. Carnage, to be honest with you. And then goes on to lose the third set 6-3. So finally losing for the first time at the US Open ever. Andreescu, obviously the champion 2019, didn't play 2020. But I thought a pretty good tournament. She played some good tennis, and Sakkari is a very good player, I think. And I don't think the 17 ranking or seed does her justice. I think she is potentially a top 10 player. So interesting to see how she does in the quarters. Right, let's go through the quarters then. Svitolina, Fernandez. Svitolina's got the experience, but you just never know. Fernandez could come through that, and I wouldn't be surprised. She's been fantastic, obviously beating Osaka and Kerber. And interesting to see what kind of different looks and problems she poses for Svitolina. But Svitolina's been in fantastic form. I'm going to go Svitolina in 3. And there's that crazy stat that whenever she wins the first set, she goes on to win the match. And that's happened the last 42 times in a Grand Slam. So I think it's pretty important for Fernandez to win the first set from the sounds of it. So let's see if she can come out all guns blazing. I'm sure she would have heard that stat, and I think people need to be very on top of that when they're playing her, clearly, because that is something that is quite important, obviously, in the matchup with her. Krejcikova, Sabalenka, that's a really good one. Sabalenka, obviously, you know, you look at scenes and you might say she's the favourite, but I think Krejcikova has been playing really well, to be fair. Beating Muguruza was a big win. I'm actually going to go Krejcikova. I just think she will be quite solid. I think she's going to introduce errors out of Sabalenka. I'd like to see Sabalenka go through. She's very exciting, very aggressive. But I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't. So I'm going to go Krejcikova in 3 as well. Raducanu, Bencic. Now, this is a really tough. This is obviously the hardest match that Raducanu is going to have playing the Olympic gold medalist. It's going to be a question of how does she handle the pressure. She seems to have handled the pressure pretty damn well throughout this whole tournament so far. She hasn't faced anyone of the caliber of Bencic yet. She's got the tools to potentially win. I think it's a really tight one. I'm gonna go for the fairy tale one. I'm gonna go Raducanu in 3 sets, but I think Bencic, if we look at it realistically, Bencic is probably a 65-35 favourite going into this match. I know Raducanu's been in fantastic form, but you have to then look at also who she's played. Bencic has just been at Swiatek, so that's an incredible win. So I just think it's going to be really tough for Raducanu, but you never know. You never know. And I think people will be eagerly watching that and seeing how she performs because it'll be amazing to see. And I think a lot of people will be behind her and she's exciting for sure. The crowd love her as well. Pliskova, Sakkari. I'm actually going to go Sakkari. I think she's going to be too busy for Pliskova. I think she's going to win in straight sets. Pliskova's actually been in pretty good form. But I just think the styles that Sakkari... I think Sakkari's... Yeah, I think she's going to be too busy for her. I actually don't know exactly what the head-to-head is. I probably should look that up. But in terms of how I see it, yeah, I think Sakkari is going to come through that. And maybe it's because I like the style of play of Sakkari. I'm a bit biased, but I think that she's very solid all round. She's got good legs. And Pliskova, I think, kind of similar to Sabalenka, although she maybe is a little bit less powerful, but also makes a little less mistakes. I think will end up, unfortunately, falling at this stage. So let's see. Obviously, the crazy thing is that because Osaka's out and Barty's out and Raducanu and Fernandez have effectively replaced those 2 players, potentially they can be in the final, which would be an incredible final, obviously, if it was to happen. I think it's very unlikely that both will make the final, or even potentially one, but what a story that would be. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Please do remember to smash the like button. It really does help us out, and subscribe to the channel as well. As I said, I think 90% of you haven't subscribed. Come on, get on the subscribe button if you don't mind. It's free, it's quick, it's easy. It really does help us out a great deal. I do appreciate it. And yeah, we also are on Patreon. Check us out. Link in the description, and also on the channel banner as well. Do check it out if you are interested in supporting us even further. Thank you very much, guys. Check us out on obviously Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch as well. We're on there, and I'll see you on the next video. Looking forward to quarterfinals, semi-finals, final. We're getting down to the business end. I cannot wait.